Good morning, everybody. How are we? I want to continue this video. Basically, we probably could call this part 2 if you want. I want to continue this video on cancer. Yesterday, I was kind of putting it out to you pretty strongly there. You know, when you sit in my position, 40 years as a healer, naturopathic degree, biochemistry degree, herbal degree, fitness degrees. I've had a ton of degrees. And none of them means nothing because you learn nothing in school. You learn some basic stuff. Where you learn is working with people over 40 years. And my friend Dr. Jensen worked with people over 75 years. And when you work in this field, our goal is always regeneration of tissue and cellular genetic remembering. You know, when you look at cells, and our discussion in part 1 was a breakdown of the human body, and this is essential for you to learn. It is essential for you to lose the fear when it comes to cancer, any cancer. I don't care. They fear pancreatic cancer. We've had so many people overcome their pancreatic cancers through these health programs. Do we treat cancer? No. We don't want anything to do with diseases because they don't exist. And as soon as you realize that diseases are an illusionary concept by the allopathic community, that they're feverishly taking everybody's money and all these labs trying to find a cause, we've all known the causes of these things for 100 years. And there's always that carrot in front of a person's nose. We're going to find a cure for diabetes. We're going to find a cure. This is all crap. This is all ridiculous, illusionary bullcrap. And it keeps the public in control. It keeps you shoveling out tons of money, and it keeps you in pain and suffering, and eventually your death. And this is why you must take your health in your own hands and learn the rules of the road. You know, this earth is the biosphere, as I've talked about, the laboratory where it is all being done. Not man, God. And so when you take a look at this planet and you compare our species, you'll find us as a frugivorous species. According to National Geographic and many other anthropologists, we are a tropical species, a frugivorous species, another one who is a fruit-consuming species. Very important to understand that, because we've kind of traveled or migrated, if you will, from tropical regions into the northern climates. And this has created serious problems. Look at some of these arid countries where you have deserts and very few food sources. Africa, a good case where starvation is all over the place. So man has to turn and understand what species he belongs to and why the foods he's been consuming has been hurting him, because we don't look at our lifestyles as having any causative factors to our suffering. And I have to laugh at that, because it's been hundreds of years that healers around the globe have told man to get away from proteins, to get away from grains, to get away from the crap dairy products, especially after you pasteurize them. Man's the only vertebrate that drinks milk after he's weaned. After age 2, most people around the world can't digest milk anymore because they lose lactase. So why would you drink milk, which is nothing but clogging and mucus forming? I've always said, if you have a tumor and you want to see it grow, just drink a glass of milk and watch your tumor grow, because it'll sure grow. If you have tumors in your body and you want them to grow, just drink dairy products, cheese, ice cream, yogurts, kefirs, milks. These are the most mucosic or mucus-forming foods on this planet. There's nothing healthy about pasteurized milk. The chemistry is so bonded, the body has a very difficult time breaking this apart. Everybody says, drink milk for calcium. What they don't tell you is after you ultra-pasteurize it, you can forget the calcium. It's bonded so tightly with other metals and aminos that your body can't use them. So it becomes a foreign protein. This is why. Plus, who drinks another animal's milk that's 4 or 5 times bigger than they are? The chemistry ratios are totally different in cow's milk than they are in human's milk. Thank you. This is why Dr. Jensen promoted goat's milk. Why would you drink milk after you're supposed to be weaned in the first place? And those babies that come in here with cancer, we've got to get their health issues back in line. We put them on fruit juices. And suddenly their tumors disappear. They start looking healthier. Their brain turns on. Their nervous system turns on, because what people don't realize is the bulk of nutrition in nature is found in the fruits and berries. This is where the bulk of nutrition is, not in the grass, not in the barks, but in the fruits and berries. This is electrical food. This is nutritive food. And so very important, but it's very important that you understand the two sides of chemistry, and that fruits and berries and vegetables are predominantly the base or female side of chemistry. You can't eliminate at the cellular level pounds of cellular acids every day and eat acid food and expect to be healthy and happy, because you're living in the world of the corrosive side of chemistry. And you can't stop an acid with more acids. Oncology has not learned that. Oncology needs to take a trip to the emergency room doctors and have them explain to oncologists why we use normal saline, not just to keep the vein open. There's another reason why we use normal saline, and that is to start the alkalizing process. Because if you don't start alkalizing the body that's full of pain and swelling, they're not going to get rid of the pain and swelling, because the pain and swelling is an acid condition of the human body. It's not an autoimmune problem. Any medical doctor that uses the term autoimmune has no clue about what causes anything. He's living in a surreal world of unconsciousness, because there's no such thing as autoimmune problem. Autoimmune problems exist when no one knows what the problem really is. Oh, diabetes, it's an autoimmune problem. Cancer, an autoimmune problem. You're going to wake up to an extreme ignorant modality, and that is the allopathic community. No offense to you medical doctors in any stretch of the imagination, but last year 1 million deaths occurred under the tutelage of allopathic community. 1 million people died last year, and some people estimate it could be double that. Naturopathically, in our holistic field, none. Now, if you're going to Las Vegas and gambling on your life, and you have a modality that's killed over 1 million people every year, and one that kills none, which one you gonna bet your life on? So this is the thing you've got to wake up to. We've been brainwashed in thinking this narcissistic community of fine, educated people have the knowledge and awareness, and if they don't, we'll soon get it, because we have all these chemists and all these people in the laboratories. The problem is these people are misguided, misled, uneducated, and they don't have the ability to see. They don't have the ability to put everything together. Most of you put together jigsaw puzzles, right, where you have a bunch of pieces and you have a picture to look at. I've always said the allopathic community is trying to put together this jigsaw puzzle of health without the picture. Naturopaths have the picture before, and it's how you look. It's how you're trained to see and look at the body and nature and the laws of nature. We humans break every law of nature there is, from food combinations to physics. We break every law and then wonder why we're sick and suffering. Why half of our money or more. I had a lady with a right breast cancer. They removed her right breast, removed her right kidney, so she can't eliminate on the right side. Her leg swelled up, and she lived in her van in McDonald's parking lots and Walmart parking lots because the medical profession stole all her money from surgery and everything else. She was middle class down to homeless. This is the kind of healthcare system we have, and Obama has forced the Americans to buy into, is a system that can't cure anything, that makes the world think they're the smartest people on the planet, and yet they are actually the opposite. And so when it comes to health issues, I will say this about allopathy. Surgery and emergency medicine should be the limitation of allopathy. And when emergency physicians start learning a lot of our tools that we have in nature, we'll even excel in emergency medicine, especially when it comes to burns. Allopathy is brutal when it comes to burns, and the end result is always mutation. In our field, we can get your skin to grow back nice as you please with no scarring or anything. From first, second, and third degree burns. So people don't understand the level that our field has to offer people, and that is the regeneration of tissue or cells. And in that process, you will find genetic remembering of cells. In other words, the genetics, you have to understand genetics in today's world. You have to understand what is genetics and how it affects cells and how it affects your performance, your happiness, and all this. Because genetically speaking, we're losing our bowels, we're losing our kidneys, we're losing our endocrine glands. And that is the bulk of how the body eliminates and functions totally. And we're losing that. Neurologically, we're down like we've never been before. So when we enter surgeries, we go down even more. And we have serious problems from anesthesia. We have serious problems in our world now, in our babies. Like I said, take a look at the obits. Cancer's roaring. So you have people like St. Jude marching these kids in and filling them full of chemo and stuff. No, there's a better way, and you don't have to kill your patients to try to make them better. Does it make sense to kill cells when cells make up your body? Does it make sense that cells that are damaged by acids, which become atypical or cancer cells, and then we use a stronger acid to try to terminate them, do you think your other cells are going to just sit by and say, okay, acid, pass by and go take those cells? This is a bunch of crap, and you don't train acids to attack specific cells. That's ridiculous. This is a lot of hype out there. Metastasized cancer, let me tell you, most metastasized cancer is created directly by the allopathic community's use of radiation therapy and chemotherapy. When you damage cells, they become your next cancer. Why would you damage all the cells or potential all the cells of the human body to try to overcome cancer when it creates more cancer? Does it make sense to treat cancer with cancer-causing treatments? I mean, chemo and radiation are the top cancer-causing treatments. And yet, we belly up to that. We march right in and take them in, put a port, let's go. How many people died from subclavian ports in terms of aortic aneurysms? How many people died from aortic aneurysms from putting chemo right into the aorta? Putting this battery acid, almost, is between hydrochloric, even hydrochloric acid can't stand in the stomach without ulcerating it, or the small bowel. Acids break down tissue. And so you must learn the two sides of chemistry. You must learn of the body's gigantic lymph system. This lymph system is responsible for all the skin conditions, all the fibromyalgia, lupus, for all the cysts, the tumors, all the pimples, the boils, the cysts, responsible for all the arthritises. Everything you can name, you'll trace right down to what acids do to the human body and what the human body has to do to fight it. And the two antacids I've talked about in part one is cholesterol and calcium. How many people have cholesterol problems? Why? What is cholesterol? Oh, one's bad, you're bad cholesterol. That is unawareness. When someone tells you your bad cholesterol is up, that's unawareness. There's no such thing as bad cholesterol. These cholesterols have a specific function in the human body. And when you learn that it's the body's main antacid, cell phospholipids, HDL, LDL, adrenal steroids, and the lipid-based lymphatic fluids dominate the human body, remember, by 75%. There's nothing outside the world that's coming into you and hurting you. This is everything you're creating in your body, and now you have to learn how to uncreate it. And you can uncreate it, thank God, as you created this. And once you understand this and understand the rules of health, because there are rules to health, we are not omnivores. We cannot eat like billy goats. Omnivores are dogs, hogs, bears, and chickens. And I've not seen too many humans that looks like dogs, hogs, bears, or chickens. If they're anything, we look like primates. And primates are frugivores, a tropical species, and we're more refined than that. There's no other food source that man can deal with. And when you eat a high level of fruit, you'll start to get away even from vegetables.